All right, it looks like we're live. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, Baba Kashah. All right, shalom. We are the ISUPK, start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. And we are not affiliated with any other Israelite group or organization. And what we do is teach the truth according to the Bible. And tonight is the Tuesday night Brotherhood class, which every Tuesday we get it in, teaching the importance to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, how important brotherhood is. Salaki, excuse me. How important brotherhood is. So if this is your first time catching a live, your first time catching this in class here in Kansas City, I would like to ask that, you like, share, subscribe to the live feed. Salaki. That you like, share, subscribe to the live feed. So, we can push this truth even further. You know what I mean? It's important that you share, like, subscribe, because that helps the algorithm. You know what I mean? So, while we watch everything that we want to watch and scroll all day on TikTok and all the social media, you can see more of the truth. I know me, I be tired of seeing a lot of foolishness online all day. When you scrolling and when you, you're on your phone all day, all you do is see a lot of garbage for the most part. I mean, social media can be entertaining, but, I think we all can agree for the most part, you see a lot of things that are, vain. I mean, if I had to describe it in one word, biblically, I would use the word vanity, social media. But, like I said, like, share, subscribe, share the classes, share, everything that the ISUPK does so more brothers and sisters can find out about the truth. So we could save more of our nation, so more of our nation can come together. You understand? And as you see the title tonight, I decided to name the class, We Hate Each Other. And if you leave it up to the Black leadership, like how we have today, the Black leadership, I mean, it's true. Black people, we definitely hate each other. And the reason why I say we hate each other is because I know, like, you probably got a few Black friends, you love your family members, but I'm talking collectively as a nation. The nation of Israel, meaning Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we hate each other. And primarily it's because of our oppressor. We've been oppressed for so long, we think that, we're different, or we think that somebody is better than another person, or we picked up, like, what we call each other haters. And that's exactly what it is. Like, we hate each other. We may think it's because somebody is better than us, or we may think because this person is rich and this person is poor. But even if you put 100 Black people in a room and they're all poor, we're going to find a reason to hate each other because we haven't been taught brotherhood. We haven't been taught the Bible correctly. We haven't been taught the ways of the Most High God. You understand? So we learned these things through our oppressors. So we're basically learning, or we're carrying out the acts of the so-called white man on each other. And that's why we hate each other, because we're basically looking at each other as if we're white people. Like, we're looking at, like, I'm a so-called Negro. I'm from the tribe of Judah, Yahweh in the Hebrew. But when I was in the world, I looked at other Black people as if I was an oppressor. Think about it. You understand? If it was a group of niggas, I wanted to be away from the group of niggas. If it was a group of niggas, I'm thinking it's the group of niggas that's going to do harm to me. Because that's all I seen all my life was people from our tribe or from, my neighborhood or whatever, do harm to each other. You know what I mean? I seen the drug epidemic. I seen the gang, how people, was unalive with gang violence. And I only seen it from my people. But it wasn't until I came into the ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana, I started to understand the spiritual battle that we were fighting, the spiritual battle that we were facing every day. You understand? So we have to understand that first. Let me see if this sound is working. If anybody's watching online, can you put a 1? Okay, never mind. The sound is to Wab. I don't know why. I'm getting this message on my tablet. However, anyway, it wasn't until I came into the truth under Commanding General Yohana that I learned the importance of brotherhood, or learn why Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people, why we are so destroyed. You know what I mean? And we like to blame each other, like the Christian church or any Black leader. They like to blame, we like to blame each other. We like to put the blame on ourselves. We like to say that, oh man, you just being a victim. And it's not that we're trying to be a victim, it's that we are actually victims of crimes that were never, we never got justice for any crime committed against us. So we are victims. You understand? And the proof that we're still victims is one of them. I use this all the time, is your last name. Your last name, if you're a Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, proves that you are a victim of America. You are a victim of crimes because your forefathers were raped, robbed, and murdered and put into slavery and were given the last name of the slave master. Whatever cotton field you worked on, or whatever farm that you worked on, whatever family owned you. You understand? So through oppression, we learn to develop like the sixth sense of hating each other. You know what I mean? It's like it almost comes natural because we are looking at each other from the perspective of our oppressor. Our oppressor created and molded us the way that he wanted us to think and act and dress or whatever. So we're just carrying out what our oppressor wants us to do. And that's why we develop hate so, deeply for each other, because you're not looking at it. If we were looking at each other from the perspective of the Bible, if we were looking at each other like true Black people, Israelites, we wouldn't have these troubles in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community. There wouldn't be a such thing as Black on Black crime. Not to say that there wouldn't be any crimes committed, but the stereotype of Black people committing crimes on each other is just like blown out of proportion. Like any other nation of people don't commit crime. They act like other nations don't commit crimes amongst one another. And that's just totally false. But they blow ours out of proportion because the Bible says in Deuteronomy, I believe in the 28th chapter, I'm not sure what verse, that we would be in astonishment. So everything that we do is magnified because we're God's chosen people. So they manipulate that and push propaganda on the Lord's people. So the smallest thing that we do, they blow it out of proportion and make it seem like we're the most horrible people on earth. Like General Muhammad said yesterday on Black Watch, if you caught Black Watch. If you caught Black Watch yesterday, how Black women aren't the biggest whores. They try to push that narrative with the Sexy Reds, the Megan Thee Stallions, the Cardi B's, so forth and so on. Like Black women are the biggest whores on earth. When in reality, Black women aren't the biggest whores on earth. I believe the first hoe that was popularized in America was Marilyn Monroe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But there were tons of white whores that, get passes. But our sisters don't get passes. And I'm not saying that they should get passes, because none of us get passes for committing crimes against the Most High God. We don't get passes because he gave us the law, and he didn't give the law to any other nation. He gave the laws to us. So we don't get passes being Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. I don't care what the Christian pastor tells you, how many passes you're supposed to get, or God knows your heart, or no one can judge you. That is a lie according to the Bible. And with that thought process, that is going to get us destroyed. You understand? That will get us destroyed. Let me make sure that we got these other. So like, give me a second. I forgot to share the class to the other groups. Give me 1 second while I do that. Forgot to share these classes. And like I said, if you tuning in tonight, like, share, subscribe. It goes a long way. You like, share, subscribe. Let me make sure that I share this class to these groups real quick. Actually, I haven't shared these classes to these groups in a long time. Shame on me. I even share them to the fake Israelite groups. I share the classes to the fake Israelite groups. Speaking of fake Israelites, you fake Israelites are taking some L's right now. Y'all taking some L's right now. You know what I mean? I wonder, how the next unity camp is gonna play out for, all the other Israelites. How the fake or the unity camp is gonna play out. How's that gonna play out? You understand? The brother Alazar, he stepped down from Sakari. Who's going to take over for Sakari? Who's going to finish out Alazar's legacy in the Sakari? I know I wouldn't want to come behind Salakia. Pause. I wouldn't want to do it. I wouldn't want to do it. But however, yeah, you fake Israelites took a L with that one. And you know what I mean? The ISUPK has been trying to tell, brothers and sisters who aren't in the school how important it is to come together. You know what I mean? And I know y'all want to say pray for Sakari. You shouldn't kick a dog while he's down. I remember a few, he created a whole bunch of classes against Commanding General Yohana, against a whole bunch of other fake Israelite groups. He created all kind of classes and lives, and he did the whole one too. But when you're living an unrighteous lifestyle, and this goes for me, this goes for any brother or sister. If you claim to be righteous and you're living an unrighteous lifestyle, the Lord's going to expose you. The Lord's going to make an example of you, because that's the difference between being an Israelite and really serving the Lord and being a Christian. Because Christianity doesn't teach you to have any humility or humbleness about yourself. It doesn't teach you how to have any obedience or to practice integrity. That's Christianity. And that's why we say fake Israelites. Not that Alazar isn't an Israelite. It's just, if you're going to be an Israelite, Yasha Allah, that's the princes of the power. If you're going to be a follower of the Most High God, you have to have integrity. If you don't have any integrity, if you don't have any will to fight evil, to resist evil, you're not going to be a follower of the Most High God, because you're going to constantly be tempted in this earth with all sorts of wickedness. There's all kind of devices in this earth set up by our oppressor, hell, set up by our own people, because our people follow the oppressor. Remember last week or the week before how I was breaking down, if you are in the world, you are of your father, the devil. And that's talking about Israelites. That's not talking about the so-called white man. It's talking about Israelites who follow the white man. And that's part of the reason why we don't have brotherhood. It's part of the reason why we hate each other, because we follow the white man. We follow the devil, the deceiver. You understand? So yeah, if you want brotherhood, come to the Lord's Passover April 12th, man. Come to the Lord's Passover April 12th. That's Saturday, April 12th, the Lord's Passover. And if you notice what I said, the Lord's Passover, it's not more than one Passover. There wasn't more than one Passover when Moses left Egypt, and when we were celebrating the Passover, even when Christ and the disciples had the Passover, it was only one. That was the only Passover. You don't have hundreds of different Passovers. You don't have hundreds of different camps and bodies. That's not biblically correct. There's supposed to be one, joined to one. You understand? Just like how we do in the ISUPK. We are one body, but you have camps in Kansas City. We have camps in Chicago. We have camps in St. Louis. We have camps in New York. We have camps in Philly, in California. We are one body, but we are different camps, but we are one body. That's how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be this camp over here and this camp over here and this camp over here. And now I'm saying I got the truth. They not in the truth. I'm going to follow the new moon. I'm going to celebrate the new moon. I'm going to celebrate sexual deviancy. I'm going to celebrate this and I'm going to do this way. No, that's not being in the truth. What fake Israelites have done to the truth, or people or brothers that had dropped their sword from the original school and started to go start other schools, what they did was cause more confusion. They pretty much just tried to make being an Israelite another form of Christianity. When you start hearing cats say, you just got to keep the laws to the best of your ability, nobody has 100% of the truth. When you start hearing things like that, it should draw suspicion, because those are similar quotes or statements that the Christian church has. The Christian church says what? God knows your heart. So that leaves opportunity for error. The Christian church says no one can judge you. So a fake Israelite can say no one has the whole truth. If no one has the whole truth, that means there's something missing. And if something's missing, that leaves room for error. So that's what fake Israelites have done to make the truth into a Christianity doctrine. And the truth isn't a Christianity doctrine. The truth is the truth. The truth is the truth. You know what I mean? You can either be hot or cold. The Lord don't want you lukewarm. He don't want you straddling the fence. He don't want you somewhere in the middle. He needs us to have obedience and to practice integrity. He needs us to be held accountable. And that's why we're going so hard on the Sakari, because they had a big, huge following. They didn't have a big, huge camp or a lot of numbers in their camp. I'm not saying that they had a small camp. They had enough men to follow someone who was a sexual deviant. And the ISUPK, under Commander General Yohana, we are going to shed light where it's darkness. You understand? So that goes for the Sakari. That goes for Martin Luther King. That goes for T.D. Jakes. That goes for, hell, anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. The fact of the matter is that the Bible says, do not hate thy brother in thy heart. You have to rebuke your brother for any cause. We have to rebuke the Sakari. That's the only way you can show real love. That's not hate, that's love. You want to know what some hate is? But as a matter of fact, I'm going to get it in my first story that I wanted to bring out. This is some hate, and this is supposed to be a brotherhood. And I'm talking about the situation with the brother who was unalived in that fraternity. Let me pull it up real quick. What was the brother's name? The brother's name was Caleb Wilson. So the brother's name was Caleb Wilson, was unalived after an alleged fraternity hazing incident. Here's what we know. So like I was saying, you're not supposed to go punch or beat or fight or do anything like harmful to another brother. I mean, you're not defending yourself. The only time the ISUPK teaches us to go to ground is when we're defending ourselves. You don't just, we're not jumping people in here. That's not love. That's not brotherhood. To see how tough a brother is, I don't even know why they do it. Listen, I don't understand fraternities. I don't understand any of that garbage, trying to become a Greek. I'm an Israelite, and, I have brothers in here. I just leave it at that. I have brothers in here. So Caleb Wilson, a 20-year-old Southern University student, died after alleged off-campus Omega Psi Phi fraternity hazing ritual. Hazing ritual. Let me click on this hazing ritual. So Louisiana college student died after being punched in chest during hazing, police say. So he was punched in the chest. All right, let me go back. All right, so in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, late February, police said Wilson's death was the direct result of a hazing incident where he was punched in the chest multiple times while pledging to Omega Psi Phi fraternity. Baton Rouge Police Department Chief Thomas Morse Jr. said at a news conference on Monday, March 7th. Was it else? So this brother was punched repeatedly, I'm assuming, while he's pledging. Like, what is that for? What is that for? That sounds like a game. That doesn't sound like something, you should want your children to join. But, you say that the being in the ISUPK under Commander General Yohana, you say that we're violent, man. We look rough. We look tough. We speak in a way that most people don't enjoy because we're telling the truth. But, you talk bad about the ISUPK and you'll send your children to college and willfully let them sign up for a fraternity, maybe because you was in a fraternity, when you know what goes on in a fraternity. This isn't the only case that someone was unalive because they were being hazed or abused. This is abuse. This is torture. This is like, damn, what do they call it? Waterboarding. It wouldn't surprise me if these fraternities were waterboarding people. What type of brotherhood allows you to strike a man innocently and you're not defending yourself to make a pledge? A pledge to what? A pledge to what? Your stupid fraternity, your stupid brotherhood. It cost this brother his life. And this fraternity is going to, continue to grow. And no one is going to look at the fraternity sideways. They're just going to blame the students because it was a hazing ritual. A hazing ritual that was created around the fraternity. You understand? So this brother lost his life. And I believe one man was arrested behind this incident. Let me see. Okay, Caleb McCrae, 23, was arrested Thursday evening and faces charges of manslaughter and criminal hazing in the death of Wilson, a mechanical engineering junior at the school who died in late February. McCrae is a former Southern University student, according to the CBS News affiliate. East Baton Rouge District Attorney Hiller Moore said 2 additional people who have not been publicly identified will be charged with misdemeanor hazing. Wilson had been taking part in an off-campus and unsanctioned fraternity ritual. WAFB reported other pledges and members of the fraternity were present. No one called 911 or attempted to summon an ambulance to the location, Moore said. Wilson and 8 others pledging the fraternity were punched by McCrae and at least 2 other individuals wearing boxing gloves, according to a police arrest warrant affidavit reviewed by the Associated Press. So, like I said, you'll let your children join a fraternity, but, damn, letting them come into the ISUPK to learn their culture, to learn who they are, to have real brotherhood. People, because we would defend brothers from that. We don't teach things like that. We have Hebrew Academy, and Hebrew Academy can be rough, but no one is sitting there punching you constantly to make a pledge or an oath in order for you to join us. No one is doing that. They're only doing that in the Christian church, in the fraternities. And we learned that from our oppressor. That fraternity, that's nothing but gang violence. That's nothing but gang violence. I mean, what good thing comes from you getting punched? I've heard all kind of horror stories about people who've been in fraternities pledging and being hazed, and this isn't the only brother or person who's been unalived by a fraternity. But, it's not the only person that's been unalived. There's been tons of people unalived in the Christian church. All those Christians, you Christians are some real unalivers. Y'all real gangster in that Christian church, man. But, Lord forbid you come into the ISUPK. You can't pull records of anyone in the ISUPK being punched, being abused, being beat up, unalive, just to join our group. And that is insane. You understand? That is insane. And that's unbrotherly, and that's a sin according to the Bible. I had a precept on that. Did I save it? Give me 1 second. I know it was in Proverbs. I just can't remember what verse it was in. Okay, I'm gonna go to Proverbs 15 and 18. Let me get that real quick. So this is Proverbs chapter 15, verse 18. A wrathful man stirreth up strife. A wrathful man stirreth up strife. You know, you have to be full of wrath just to be like a person sitting there pledging. He's not punching you back. You know he's there. You know he's there to, you know, try to have some type of brotherhood, to try to build a relationship, whatever they do in the fraternity. But he wasn't there for violence. He's not attacking you. He's not trying to knock your head off. He didn't call your mama a B word. He didn't sleep with your girl. He didn't do anything for you to be so angry to punch him. He just simply wanted to join a fraternity. So that shows you right there the spirit of the fraternity, the spirit that you have to be in order to join this group. You understand? Like me, I'm not scared to fight. I will defend myself by all means. But I couldn't imagine just beating on a person because they're pledging, all in the name of what was the name of the fraternity? Alpha Psi, whatever the fraternity is. And then I end up unaliving a brother. So he had to be throwing some blows. He had to be throwing some blows in that brother's chest. And I'm not sure if he had any medical conditions or whatever. And if he did or didn't, you know, I don't even think it mattered. He was going to throw blows to his chest regardless if he had asthma or had a heart murmur or whatever. Because that is our oppressor's way of living, those fraternities. And our oppressors are violent people. They're vile, cruel people. And if you think I'm lying, just look at how all the cases of the oppressors, when they, you know, all the mass shootings. You understand? Think about all the lynchings in the South. They had little babies there with them, watching adults, grown white people lynch. Could you imagine having your kids with you going to go lynch somebody? That shows you the history and how violent America is. And now here we are trying to pledge like them and live our lives like them, and we don't give a damn about each other. We don't give a damn about each other when we live our life like the oppressor, because they don't give a damn about themselves, and they for sure don't give a damn about us. For sure. Let me check the YouTube. I think we Tawab on YouTube. Yeah, it looked like we Tawab on YouTube. All right, Most High Christ. Yeah, so that brother was unalive, and the Bible says, let me read it again. This is Proverbs 15 plus 18. A wrathful man stir up strife, but he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife. You understand? He that is slow to anger appeaseth strife. It's like, you know, you putting salt on a fire when you slow to anger. But a wrathful man, he can just go and punch somebody in the chest who's not even trying to attack you or cause any harm to you, all in the name of a fraternity, all in the name of an organization, all in the name of some group that don't even matter. They don't even love you in the first damn place. So now you're going to go to prison, and is that fraternity going to help you get out of prison? Is that brotherhood that you pledged to, that you took, that pledge that you took, that brotherhood that you joined, is that brotherhood going to help you get out of the trouble that you caused this brother's family? Like I said, I don't know what was running through his mind, why he felt the need, they feel the need that they have to harm each other in these fraternities. But, you know, it's a disgusting thing to join a fraternity, as you can see. You know what I mean? Commander General Hanna has broke this down several times. the short while I've been in the truth, I've heard him speak on these fraternities and these college organizations like at least 4 or 5 times with my own ears. But however, you shouldn't do that. Don't join a fraternity. That's not true brotherhood. The only true brotherhood is in the ISUPK under Commanding General Hana. Now, I had another clip, and this is actually a better story. It's actually kind of made my day. Check this out.
The unbelievable moment captured on school surveillance video. You can see Danye in the dark-colored shirt begin to bend over, struggling to breathe. Jason in white noticed immediately and came to his rescue, squeezing his abdomen to expel the food.
And then he was trying to say, hold on, but he couldn't because he was choking. I didn't know he was actually choking. So I just did my thing, which was a Heimlich.
The 9-year-old did do his thing. He performed a life-saving technique without hesitation.
I learned that from YouTube.
The observant, quick learner became an instant hero in the eyes of his friend.
Can you tell me, how were you feeling when all of that was going on?
I felt surprised.
The unbelievable moment captured on school surveillance video. You can see Danye in the dark-colored shirt begin to bend over, struggling to breathe. Jason in white noticed immediately and came to his rescue, squeezing his abdomen to expel the food.
And then he was trying to say, hold on, but he couldn't because he was choking. I didn't know he was actually choking. So I just did my thing, which was a Heimlich.
The 9-year-old did do his thing.
Get that young brother a hand. That made my day to see a young man save another young man's life. You understand? He saved his friend's life by watching a YouTube video he seen on the Heimlich maneuver on YouTube. While we will let our kids watch YouTube all day and the amount of garbage that's on YouTube, I'm guilty as well. I'll come downstairs and my kids are watching something crazy on YouTube and it's on repeat. Sometimes I have to come downstairs and turn it off. Like, what the heck are you watching? There's so much garbage on YouTube. There's so much things that fill our kids' minds up. It was just beautiful to see that young man learn something helpful and actually became useful. Something that was useful. He saved his friend's life, and the other little boy is going to remember that the rest of his life. And that's how we should be in this truth. This truth is something that you can learn. This is a tool that you can learn to save someone else's life. I'm forever grateful and in debt to the Most High God under Commanding General Hana and the ISUPK, because my life was saved coming into this school. And I will never take it for granted, and I will never forget it, and I will never disown it. You understand? Now, that was just a beautiful thing just to see that little boy. I mean, 2 kids, you see a little kid, man, give another little kid a Heimlich maneuver because his friend was choking off a video he saw on YouTube. Like, that is awesome. That is awesome, man. I just want to give a little brother a hand because, look, we so busy hating each other. We so busy, trying to prove who's better or prove this and prove that. And we forget about the small things in life. The small things in life, especially when you have a situation like that. A situation like that, like when your life is flashing before your eyes and you don't know if you're going to live or die, you're going to be like wondering what in that moment, like what really matters. When you're on your deathbed, you're going to be wondering in life what really matters. We don't want to wait till the end to try to change what really matters. Let's focus on changing what matters now. Let's start loving each other now. Let's put away our differences now. Let's fix each other now. Let's heal now. We don't need to wait. We've been waiting long enough and our lives have been hell. You understand? So let's focus on that, man. That was that video right there. Like I said, it was beautiful. I like to give a young brother a hand again because that was just absolutely amazing. I don't know why. I hope that brother, his parents put him through school. He could become a doctor. He can become something real useful for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian, Lord willing. I pray that brother finds the ISUPK because we can mold him and send him in the right direction. You understand? I pray he doesn't go to a fraternity because he might not make it out of school. Now, I wanted to talk about the other situation with LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith. Let me see if I can find the one I was looking for.
For what Colin Cowherd was explaining, I'll tell you what the interpretation is. The interpretation is that you can't get away with having somebody who's clearly not ready to be in the league, and put them on the field with dudes who are putting their bodies and their livelihoods on the line. Can't do it. Now, again, I want to reemphasize what I'm trying to say. I'm not a person that believes that Bronny James doesn't have potential. I'm certainly not rooting against him. I think the money he gets paid is nobody's business. His father's underpaid, grossly underpaid, continuously underpaid. But what he means to the league, the salary that LeBron James is subjected to, pales in comparison to what his worth actually is, even though obviously he makes gobs and gobs of money off the court. But the reality is that Bronny James hasn't appeared to be ready to play in the NBA. Just because you make a shot here and there doesn't mean you're ready to play in the NBA on a night-in, night-out basis. I use the Marvis Frazier going up against Larry Holmes, an analogy, because Joe Frazier was criticized for putting his son in a ring against former heavyweight champion of the world, Larry Holmes. And Larry Holmes was quoted saying, ain't no dude with 10 fights, ain't no kid with 10 fights going to beat me. And he went in there and finished him off in the first round and called for the referee to stop the fight, waved the referee 3 times, and hit him and waved for the referee to stop the fight because he was clearly in over his head. And that seems to be the case with Bronny James. Now, for what Colin Cowherd was explaining, I'll tell you what the interpretation is. The interpretation is that you can't get away with having somebody who's...
So I believe that's the conversation that Stephen A. Smith
clearly not ready to be in the league.
You know, that's why LeBron James was mad. I believe that's why LeBron James was mad. I don't know if it was that one. Hold on, let me see.
I'm really, really trying to be as respectful as I possibly can be. I am pleading with LeBron James as a father. Stop this. Stop this. We all know that Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad. I'm really, really trying.
So yeah, Stephen A. Smith clearly has a problem. Oh, Stephen A. Smith clearly has a problem, Salakia. Clearly has a problem with LeBron James' son being in the NBA. I haven't watched it. Me personally, I haven't watched the NBA like that in years. It hasn't really been too interesting to me. You know what I mean? I like basketball. I'm not a huge basketball fan. I'm not real big into sports like that, basketball, football. I love boxing. I won't lie, I love boxing. That's probably my favorite sport. Then right behind that, baseball. But it's neither here or there. I don't watch sports like that. But, you know, I don't really know how Bronny plays. Obviously, it must be an issue with him playing because everybody's talking about it. But this is the thing. Like, why do we feel the need to have to speak on everything, especially like when it's pertaining to our own people? Like, you look at social media, you look at hip hop. I don't care what type of entertainment it is. It seems like it gets more interesting when we are at odds with each other. You get what I'm saying? It becomes more interesting when you see 2 black people talking bad about each other. Everything becomes more interesting and it's more intensified. You know what I mean? When there are tons of other nations that can, you know, entertain and do the same thing, but when we do it, it's like we just drag it. We drag it, and that's because of that hate that we have that's, you know, internalized that we get through our oppression. You understand? So, like, you have these cats like Stephen A. Smith You got cats. Hell, you even see it in the so-called Israelite community. Like people just want to talk about negative things, and we do it at the expense of not building brotherhood and not having love for each other. Now I understand like some things need to be outed, like Sakari that needed to be outed. But if they followed the Bible, it wouldn't have been magnified the way that it is now, that situation. Because if that brother had an issue with him, guess what he should have did? He should have went to he and thee alone. Someone sends you text messages about, your wife sticking items, where the sun don't shine. You were like, look, hey, Salakia, look, your wife sent me this, or this bride that you're dealing with, whoever she is, sent me this. You want to tell me about this? What's going on? Because this is not lawful. This isn't lawful, right? You could have went to the brother like that. Instead, he went and made a damn video and outed him, and that was the Lord's doing. The Lord wanted all that garbage to be out anyway, because it goes back to that precept. If they not, and I'm paraphrasing, if they ain't doing nothing against us, pretty much just let them be, because it's going to magnify what is the truth and what's not. The disciples, Christ told the disciples, when you see other people prophesying in my name and they not with us, just let them be. Let them be, because it's going to show that we are the truth. You understand? You're not going to hear rumors or see things, and no one in the ISUPK doing those sorts of things, because that's not allowed in here. Just like Yahushua, he didn't allow a lot of things. So all those fake Israelites back then that wasn't following Christ was going out prophesying in Yahushua's name. And you may think in your mind that that's a good thing that he said that, but it's like, no. I mean, it's a good thing if you're in the truth, but if you're not in the truth, it's not a good thing, because he's saying that eventually you're going to fall, and we're going to get magnified. We're going to get the glory, because the people who follow you are going to see you fall. Then they're going to know who and where the truth is. You understand? So, but when we put things out in the earth, like when we are going bickering back and forth, whether it's hip hop, you see how long that this Drake and Kendrick Lamar rap beef has been. It's been about a year, or damn near over a year. I'm not sure. And you still have people making videos about it, talking about it as if it's a fresh rap beef. When the rap beef is over, Kendrick Lamar won. But it's all, we sacrifice all that for this. We sacrifice brotherhood in order to entertain, to make money, and it makes a mockery of black people, and it keeps us further and further separated when you think about it. So, Stephen A. Smith, this is like, sometimes we just need to know when to shut our mouths. Just shut the fuck up, Salakia. Sometimes we just need to know when to shut up. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, true enough, but you work for the oppressor, and you're getting money off what you're saying, because our oppressor loves to see when two black men are at odds, or when we quarrel, whether it's physically or verbally or whatever. But that's the ideal of America. Pouring your spirit in America is to keep us separated, to keep us from coming together. You understand? So, like I can like the Chiefs. You can like the Philadelphia Eagles. In the ISUPK, that's no sweat. We both have our favorite football team, but we're not going to take sides over the brotherhood. We're not going to allow that a stupid football team, allow us to not be brothers. And if you do struggle with that, you got to get some counsel. You got to get some help. You got to know when to, cut it off. You may need to stop watching football. If your football team is not allowing you to be your brother because they lost, you probably need to stop watching football. You need to go get some damn counseling. I mean, and that's how we do in ISUPK, because we brothers. We love each other. You know what I mean? I'm going to get checked. Someone else is going to get checked. But at least we have the opportunity to come back as brothers. See, in the world, they don't know how to do that. A lot of brothers don't have the opportunity to come back to each other. You know why? Because a lot of them are in the grave. A lot of them are in prison. A lot of them, it's just too late. But in here, when you learn how to serve the Lord, and if you serve the Lord correctly, guess what? You're going to get that chance. That's why the Most High gave us grace. And with that grace, it's not to be abused. It's so we can correct ourselves and start bringing the kingdom here down on earth. That's the objective. That's the goal. That's what Commanding General Yohana is teaching the men under him. That's what he's teaching the nation. He's teaching us exactly what Christ did, or how Christ did to the disciples. But this Stephen A. Smith, or Jackson, is it Stephen A. Jackson? I don't know why I want to call the brother the wrong name. LeBron confronted him. He went on the court and said something. Let me see if I can find that clip. So he went over there and confronted Stephen A. Smith, and they asked him, like, what was he saying? He was like, well, I can't repeat, the things he said because, on television. So, he didn't have any polite words for Stephen A. Smith. I guarantee I probably know some of the words he said. I'm a Judite. LeBron James is a Judite. And you from the hood, you already know how it started off. You understand? Or you probably got a clue how it started off. But this is what I'm saying. Sometimes we got to watch our mouth. Sometimes you have to, they say it's all to do for clout and entertainment purposes. But I mean, this is what I would like a lot of the entertainers and the people that have the money and that are in them positions. It's like, do you ever think about your people more than what you're trying to profit for yourself? And that's why you can't look at entertainers, you can't look at people that are in the limelight as a true leader, because if you're going to look at these people that are in the limelight as a true leader, the moment that they don't think about the people and it shows, you're going to be let down. You're going to be let down every time. See, I know other Israelite groups, and I know people think that we're crazy for always bigging up Commanding General Yohana, for holding on to the truth when everyone else left the truth. Do you know how I couldn't imagine being in his position? I just truly couldn't. All the temptation and all the things that people were saying and doing around him, and he held on to it. He didn't go out and try to create another Israelite group. He wanted to hold on to what he was taught. He found something sacred and special in that, not something new. So that needs to be commended. That needs to be recognized, because you don't have too many people that are actual heroes that stand on business, that isn't thinking selfishly, like Stephen A. Smith, like Kanye West, like Martin Luther King, like Louis Farrakhan. See, most people that are in the limelight, that are in that position, they're not going to think about the nation. They're not going to put the nation first. It's always going to be some selfishness. It's going to be a lack of integrity. I mean, you don't believe me? Ask Gorilla Hebrew. You think he was putting the nation first when he went and bought a pagan kit with the tithe money collected from people from his camp? All the money that Dr. Martin Luther King collected, and those people were sicked on, dogs were sicked on them. They were shot by fire hoses. They were marching from sun up to sundown. They were tortured, humiliated. And how much of the wealth did he spread to them before he was unalive? The Bible says that, we have to make our election sure. You know what I mean? We have to make our election sure. The ISUPK is here to make sure that you make sure your election is sure. But because that's what brotherhood is for. Brotherhood isn't, something that just sounds good. It's not something that you just say because it sounds good. Just like the word love. You can kind of link love up with brotherhood, because brotherhood is love. But you know how people just throw the word love around when love is an action word. Just like brotherhood is an action word. It's just not something you say because it sounds good. It's not something that UPK throws around because it sounds good. is something that is needed. It's something that is absolutely needed in order to build this nation so we can become greater, so we can have forgiveness, so we can practice more love, so we can put ourselves first. That's the important for brotherhood. Brotherhood is an action. It's an action, man. It's not nothing that you just say. Let me read this verse before I move on to the next clip. But yeah, Stephen A. Smith, he should have shut his mouth. He should have shut his mouth. I mean, LeBron, I mean, he got his son into the NBA. And y'all always talk about, you know, how there aren't any good black fathers or any good examples of black fathers. When this man played his ass off for all these years and got his son in the NBA, well, maybe, just maybe, that might be an outlet to make it more fair for other children to get in the NBA. Maybe. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know the politics of basketball, but I mean, because someone may see something in a person, the potential. He may not have this, but he may have that, and they may give him a better chance. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. But maybe, just maybe. Let me go to my... Let me go to... Mark chapter 12. Let me get there in my Bible first. This thing is, there we go. Mark chapter 12, verse, I'm going to start at verse 29. This is Mark chapter 12, verse 29. And Jesus answered him. Matter of fact, let me start at verse 28 so you can kind of get the context of what we're talking about. So this is Mark chapter 12, verse 28. And one of the scribes came, and having heard them reasoning together, and perceiving that he had answered them well, asked him, which is the first commandment of all? Verse 29. So the scribe asked him, he's like, look, he answered these other questions to my liking, so I'm going to ask him this question. You know what I mean? Verse 29, and Yahushua answered him, the first, now listen, it says the first of all the commandments is, hear, O Israel. So right there, the first of all the commandments is, hear, O who? Israel. Why is it saying, hear, O Israel? Why isn't it saying like, hear all the world, hear all the nations, hear all the people? Why isn't it saying that? Why is it saying, hear, O Israel? And this is Jesus talking. So this is in the New Testament. If everything is changed, if the Bible said they just let everybody in, you know, like they teach in the Christian church, everybody can be saved. He didn't just come for the Israelites. He came for everybody, whosoever believe, when they don't understand the whosoever in the correct context. But why does it say that? And Jesus answered him, the first of all the commandments is, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. The Lord our God is one Lord. Not the Lord everybody's God, not whosoever's God, the Lord our God, Israel's God. You understand? Verse 30. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart. So the Bible is telling the Israelites, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, to love thy God with all thy heart. And how do you love thy God with all thy heart? By keeping the commandments, because this is the first commandment. You understand? And it's going to get deeper into what the subject is, what I'm trying to pull out. And with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. And this is the first, Salakia, this is the first commandment. So that's the first commandment right there. O Israel. So blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we're supposed to love the Most High God with all our strength, all our mind, all our heart. You understand? That's the first commandment. Verse 31. And the second is like, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. Now, why didn't he say commandments? Why didn't Yahweh say commandments? Because he said the first was loving the Most High God with all thy heart. Then he said the second is like, meaning the second is just like the first. Namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. So why did he lump up these two commandments as one? Can anybody answer that? Let's see if we got anybody online. Can anyone answer that? Why did he lump these two commandments up as one? Let me see if I got anybody over here. So the reason that he lumped up these two commandments as one is because they are the same. They are the same. It's impossible for us to love the Most High God if we don't love our brother or our sister or our nation. You can't love the Most High God if you don't love your brother. So that's why it's important to understand this before you call yourself a leader. Because if you call yourself a leader and it's not in best interest for your nation, you shouldn't be doing it. When you know, buying a pagan kit wasn't in the nation's best interest. I don't think no one is going to benefit from that besides, your wife maybe, and maybe your rear end. And that's all that benefited from that situation. It sure didn't as hell bring black people together. I believe that act caused more division, because now what did the brother do that outed you? What did he do? He went and started another fake Israelite group. So now there's more confusion in Israel, because now people have to go through all these fake Israelite groups before they find the truth. And in that process of them trying to find the truth, they're going to learn the hard way. They're going to learn the hard way. So, So, and the second is likely, namely this, thou shalt, and the second is like, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. So if you don't love your brother, if you don't love your nation, there's no way that you can love the Most High God. There's no way. It's impossible. So we have to think about these things before we claim that we are, followers of the Most High God, that we love the Most High God. We have to understand that if we don't love our nation, if we don't love our brother, there's no way that we can say that we are followers of the Most High God, that we love Yahweh. There's no way. So, with Stephen A. Smith, when Stephen A. Smith made the remark about LeBron James' son, sometimes you just gotta, okay, he's probably not the best basketball player, but why can't you just big up him at least making it to the league? You understand? Or just like Commander General Hanna said, like you could just speak on the things that he needs to correct, but giving your input or your opinion on why he's in the league and how he got in the league, and then you can't understand why LeBron James is offended. You know what I mean? Look, he could have came and, put you inside the basketball hoop. But I'm pretty sure he has some messed up things he said on the court, but I mean, like, damn. Like sometimes, those people that get paid to talk, sports podcasters and people who do interview, like sometimes like y'all just talk too much. Like Charleston White, he just talks. Talk. and they all talk and contradict themselves, and people hear the contradiction, but we still listen because we're being entertained. But we don't understand what we're putting at risk, which is more separation. And that's the problem. When people talk so much and talk about people so much, it causes more division. You understand? It causes more division. So what else did I wanted to talk about? I wanted to talk about the other situation. Matter of fact, because Charleston White he's not a part of that situation, but he just did an interview, about the I believe the rapper from Texas who was unalive with his daughter. Let me pull it up real quick. His 5-year-old daughter. That was sad. I guess they just had a Bloom release. So Texas rapper G Dollar Little Ronnie. Okay, so Texas rapper G Dollar Little Ronnie and 5-year-old daughter killed in shooting at car wash. So a lot of people, you may be familiar with the story. A very tragic and sad story. The brother was unalived at a car wash with his daughter, 5-year-old. You understand? Now you understand, if you can understand that is important, we have brotherhood. Because without the Bible, like, it would just be more situations like there's going to be more situations like little Ronnie and the 5-year-old. A lot of times we take life for granted and we don't think things are going to happen because we live our day-to-day life on the edge anyway, being Black and Hispanic, but at the same time, us being Christian and raised Christian, we take grace for granted. So we think that we have all day, every day, to get our lives together, to get straight with the Most High God. I guarantee this brother would have never thought in a million years he would be getting shot at with his baby, and both of them unalive. You understand? I give my condolences to the family. You know what I'm saying? May the Lord be with them. But we have to understand as a nation what is more important. You understand? Is our birthdays more important? Is the disobedience to the Lord more important? Is celebrating Christmas and Thanksgiving, is this more important than the lives of our brothers and sisters, of the lives of our nation? Trying to escape the curses that we are currently living in, is that more important? Or would you like to see more or less death in the Black community, Hispanic and Native Indian community? Would you like to see, children able to go outside and you wouldn't have to watch them? But the more we enjoy America, the more we're going to have to worry. You understand? The more we enjoy America, the more we're going to have to worry. And the reason that we have to worry is because these curses that plague our community, that plagues our lives, come from the disobedience that we show the Most High God. And no one is here to correct it outside of the men in the ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana. No one wants to see Black people come together more than us. And we want to see it so bad that we're willing to go against every Israelite group, against every Christian, against every Muslim, against the American government. We're willing to go against this entire earth to bring Israel together by any means necessary. And I'm not talking about a physical fight, and I'm not telling brothers and sisters to go pick up AKs and AR-15s, because this fight is spiritual. This fight is spiritual. So, yeah, we want less situations like these, man, like this. We're going to have to come back to the Most High God. We're going to have to come back to our culture. Let me read this. A Texas rapper and his 5-year-old daughter were gunned down in broad daylight by 2 people, accused of opening fire as the vehicle sat at a car wash near Fort Worth. So they were about Fort Worth, Texas. Forest Hill police officers were called to Slappy's car wash just before 11 a.m. Monday for reports of a shooting. The police department said in a news release both victims were pronounced dead at the scene. Family members identified them as Ronnie Smith, 30, a rapper who performs under the name G Dollar Little Ronnie, and his daughter, Ramani. NBC Dallas Fort Worth reported. So, like I said, man, a tragic event. A rapper, another brother, was unalived by 2 other brothers. So, you know, these brothers are probably going to go to jail for a very long time. And then this brother, unfortunately, life was taken with his baby, with his little girl. You understand? Like, I have children. You know, anybody who knows me know I have a ton of girls. But I'm in here under Commanding General Hanna. Not to say that, like, you know, things can't happen. But I know if I serve the Lord and I teach my children to serve the Lord's going to be with them, is all I'm saying. The Lord's going to be with them. So, yeah, that situation is just messed up. Now, Charleston White, on the other hand, he's catching backlash because he did an interview talking about this same situation. And I guess he may have said something that was offensive to the family, right? I'm not even going to play the Charleston White clip, but he said something offensive to the family. But he, as far as what I saw in the interview, he didn't say anything like crazy. He was just basically, you know, saying that the situation was messed up. But now, whatever was offensive that the family had, you know, they said what they said. Now, Charleston White then doubled back and said, F the little girl, F that dead baby. Now, all this, like I said, could have been prevented. But Charleston White, you know, he's a whore for attention because that's how he makes his money. He makes his money by saying anything out of his mouth. He says anything out of his mouth. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you look at Charleston White as any type of leader, like, I have to question your intelligence. I have to question your morality. I have to question you as a human being. Like, if you look at any entertainer, especially on social media, who just sits there and talks all damn day about everything, if you're looking at these people as leaders, you're in a bad space in life, because these people are not going to do anything to help Black people. They're going to cause more division. They're going to cause more confusion. They're going to just get paid because that's what they're here to do. They just here to get money. They're not here to, you know, help the Black community. They're not here to, you know, lead Black people out of Egypt. They're not here for that. They here to make a bag. They here to get money. They here to say whatever comes out of their mouth in order to keep your attention, to keep you talking about them, whether it's positive or negative. And especially Charleston White, he don't care if it's positive or negative what he says. He only cares if you're going to tune in to hear him say the next thing, the next dumb, stupid thing that comes out his mouth. He doesn't care about Black people. He's said it time and time again. He's even said, like, I don't even know why people take me serious. I say anything out my mouth. He's telling you it's entertainment. But on the other hand, where do you draw the line from entertaining to causing division amongst Black people? Because ultimately, That's what it's going to do. It's going to cause division amongst black people. And it's just going to prove the title of tonight's class to be right. We hate each other. That's the only reason that you would ever say F a dead baby, F him, all because someone didn't agree with what you said in the interview. Or even if you say that you just playing a character, you say that just to get clicks and views. The reward may seem good at the time, but in the end, a lot of brothers and sisters learn that, it can end tragic. The reward seems sweet at the beginning, you know what I mean? And you can look at Whitney Houston, look at Michael Jackson, look at tons of entertainers, look at tons of people who had wealth and resources. A lot of times their life doesn't end the way that you think it should. Because the Lord can be funny too. The Lord is a man of war. You understand? So we have to be more responsible when you're in these positions. The little power that the oppressor gives you, like, look at Kanye. He running around wearing swastikas, doing all kind of nutty things, running around sleeping with every white woman that he can. He's talking this, he's talking that. 1 minute he's an Israelite, next minute he's wearing a swastika. I don't know his motive, but what I do know, the images that you're pushing out, is that worth, humiliating your entire nation? Because now you're going to have people that agree with you. You're going to have people that disagree with you. So how does that bring blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians together? You understand? So, for people who aren't in the entertainment industry, who are just regular people scrolling, looking at the news like, oh, he's a nut. People that don't take it too serious and be like, it's just entertainment. I pray that, like, Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, that we stop taking these people in these positions so serious and looking forward to what they have to say, like that's going to fix black people. The solution to fixing black people is in the Bible. I just read one of the solutions that we can do to save black people, which is love the Most High God with all your heart, with all your strength and all your soul. And Yahweh Shah said the second commandment is just like it. Love your brother like you love yourself. If we can practice these two things, we would change this nation entirely overnight. Overnight. If we could just practice these two things. But as easy as it sounds, these are two of the things that are probably the hardest to do, because we have so many distractions here in Babylon, in spiritual Egypt, to let us not focus on what needs to be focused on. Like, you really got to be tuned in order to understand this and to practice this. You got to really be locked in. A lot of people just not locked in. And if you're a brother or sister in the school, I pray that you are locked in. Don't just be in the truth. Let the truth be in you. Really be locked into this truth. Because like I stated earlier, man, this truth saved my life, and I'm not going to take it for granted at all. You know what I mean? So really be locked into this truth. And we have to stop looking at entertainers, sports figures, preachers. They say insanity is doing the same thing over and over. We've done all that. We've done all that as a nation. Why not, as a nation, try the truth? And I'm not talking about all these other fake Israelites. Everybody needs to get into ISUPK under Commander General Han. And if you questioning who has the truth, do your research. Do your research. You're going to hear rumors. You may hear some lies. You may hear some truth. But the fact of the matter is, the ISUPK is still standing since 1969. You understand? So, yeah, remember this. Watch your mouth. We have to stop depending on or looking at sports figures as any type of leaders. Sports figures, entertainers, wealthy, rich people, black people, they're not leaders at all because they're not willing to make sacrifices. They're going to think selfish. They're going to think selfish. Dr. Umar Johnson, all of them. All of them, man. All of them. All right, and with that, make sure I got the security announcements. I'm going to read the security announcements, and with that, Shalom, Yabashim and Shabakatham to the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shemal Tabash. Shalom, Yahweh Shemal Tabash Yashah to the sisters. Shalom, Yahweh Shemal Allah. Bashim Yahweh Shah to the sisters. Security announcements. Next Tuesday, we're going to get it in again with Brotherhood. Every Tuesday, 7:30 to 9. Shalom. ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, a teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew, like Asherah. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. This week we have the Feast of Purim, Thursday and Friday, the opening Thursday, and I believe the closing is next Friday. But I know for sure this Thursday is the starting of the Feast of Purim. Then also we have the Lord's 57th annual Passover, April 12th in Atlanta, Georgia. You know what I mean? Time is ticking. You got about a month, a little under a month left. You understand? Remind Akim and Akwat to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and war scarf. And with that, class is dismissed.